Raise the hammer, feel the spirit rise. Thunderbird flying the roaring skies. Rock winds collide like lightning in the storm. On Monday nights, a legend is born.
Welcome, Thunderbird Nation, to the Thunderbird Coaches Show. I'm your host, Jon Smith, and with me today in the studio is the head coach of the football Thunderbirds, Fitzgerald. We also have two very special guests, our student spotlights, Niko Alailefaleula.
Sounds good. Smooth.
All right, there we go. And then also the bright light here, Tevita Fuimaono.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's awesome to be Thunderbirds, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting here, I'm not going to go into it. It's just awesome to be Thunderbird.
Guys, he gloats after a win much more than we do. we put the win away on Sunday at lunchtime. He just carries it the whole week.
It's my job to unpack it here on the show, man.
Yes,
This is when I get to be happy and I get to talk about the dub with the guys. So, and also, man, like the season's coming to a close. We're 11 games in after on a 12-game season. One game left. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about the game coming up with Utah Tech later in the show. But it's exciting. I don't know. I'm always excited. I'm excited because it's just football. It's a good day to be alive and be a Thunderbird.
There's a crisp in the air.
It's warm today. It's warming up. I think we're going to have a great weekend. We'll talk about Thunderbird Nation. You guys need to show up. Cedar City, show up. This is a big game for us. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. But, Coach, we took a plane trip and went across the country over to Arkansas, down to Conway, Arkansas. This week's recap is brought to you by Retro Fitness. Look, Thunderbird Nation, we love you. We need you to be your best. We need you to be healthy. So I think you need to take action. Get over to Retro Fitness, start your fitness journey, and take the path to better health and strength. Retro Fitness. Go check them out. Let's break it down, Coach. Great win. Top 25 team. Man, there was a nice vibe pregame. I thought the guys were fired up. And let's talk about the win against the top 25 Bears of Central Arkansas.
Yeah, John, took a charter flight from Cedar into Little Rock, Arkansas, bust up to Conway. That bigger city.
Yeah.
Nicer and cleaner than I was expecting. Those are all positives. Stayed at a nice hotel. We had a walkthrough on Friday evening at the stadium. Went back to the hotel, had a couple of meetings, offense, defense meetings, special teams meetings. We got our Friday night meal and put it to bed. Woke up Saturday, and players had a really good look in their eye Saturday morning, John. But the breakfast and then we got some things done, and then we had our pregame meal, and we're off to the stadium again. Had a bunch of young men with a good look on their face. Our temperament was really, really good pregame, good look in our eye, and we went out and played. Everybody out there wants to hear about the game. Both teams really good on offense to start the game. Part of the reason why we've got two offensive players joining us this week. But offense was really, really good to start the game. We scored our first 4 possessions. We'd like a couple of those field goals to have been touchdowns. Game wouldn't have been as close if we were able to finish a couple of those drives.
Yeah.
But came out, scored our first 4 possessions. Took our defense a little while to settle in. Gave up 2 straight scores and took us a while to get caught up and get to playing at game speed and really get dialed in and focused and have some eye discipline and running to the football and tackling. But we were able to do that in the second quarter. John, really, really good in the second quarter. And if I may be wrong, but we outscored them 18-7 in the second quarter and really got after them. Went into halftime, tied 21-21. The one thing you know about our players is if we're close, tied, or winning at halftime, we're going to be okay.
That's right.
Because we're going to come out and play really well in the second half.
Finish.
And as good as the look was on our players' face and as good as our body language was pregame, it was even better at halftime.
Yeah.
And had some leaders stepped up and voiced their opinions at halftime. And I know Vita was chirping about some things he wanted to see done in the second half. We came out and played well in the second half. John could have, should have, but we were up 14 and probably should have put the game away up 14, but we were able to hold on and win by 7.
Yeah, 38-31 was the final score. But like you said, man, the first 4 drives on offense, I mean, points. That's obviously the goal. You want touchdowns instead of field goals, but a tribute to the offense for getting that quick start. I mean, I think it was the first play of the game for us on offense, and Targi rips like a 40-yard run. It was early, not the first play, but it was early on. Second carry,
it was early on.
I'm just like, what? This is awesome. My wife called
John, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can throw it, and as you see by the stats on Saturday, we can throw it at a high efficiency rate. We can be efficient throwing the football, but line up and, as Coach White would say, roll people off the ball is what we do on offense. And what was impressive about what Targi and our offense did Saturday night, they got an NFL player on one side of the football.
Yeah.
They got an NFL player on the other side of the football. So no matter which way you run it and or throw it, you got to deal with those 2 kids each way. And that was something that we were excited about, and it's fun. It's fun to sit late Saturday night and Sunday and watch the film of our guys doing that.
And shows the caliber of our guys, right? We're going against some of the best players in the conference, especially that number 8. What's his name?
David Walker.
Man, specimen.
We'll watch him play on Sunday next year.
Yeah, I think so. And we definitely held our own. And not only that, we rolled him off the ball and got what we needed. Yeah, so that was really cool. My wife called. I'm on the sideline. Pick up the phone. She's talking about how in the fourth quarter they were talking so it would be the home announcers were talking about how it was a privilege to watch Targi run the ball. He's leading the country in the FCS. He's doing his thing, but to go along with that, the offensive line doing their thing, opening up holes. Tight ends, exactly.
Niko at fullback position.
The heavier packages that are coming and rolling guys off the ball so he can do his thing. They were very complimentary, and I thought that was a tribute to you guys. That the home crowd was kind of saying, "Hey, this is pretty cool to watch these guys play." So I thought that was remarkable. Anyway, Coach, anything else you want to talk about Central Arkansas? The game, obviously, you went through the first and the second halves, but how does stacking those wins? We talked about that earlier in the season, stacking those wins. This is the second in a row. We've done that now twice in the season where we've been able to get, and now we're, I think, 5 out of the last 7 for something. 5 out of the last 7. Is that right?
Regan's smiling behind you now.
Regan,
hey,
isn't that right?
He said 5 out of the last 7, and 5 out of the last 7, 4 out of the last 5. But 2 minutes from now, you're going to find something negative to talk about. That's why he's smiling. That's why everybody in the studio is laughing. John, let's say this about last week.
You're so weird.
And then move on. I'm not weird.
You're weird, dude.
Just giving it to you straight.
First you tell me how positive I am, and then out of nowhere you say, yeah, but you're going to be negative. I don't know, man.
Ready to hit me. Hey, they don't call him the Velvet Hammer for nothing.
The Velvet Hammer.
Yeah. John, our coaching staff and our university are extremely proud of this football program and what they've done this fall. You talked about stacking wins. Players and coaches don't look at that so much as fans and maybe other people do. We don't notice it because we move on to the next one, and the only thing that's important is the next one. I'll say this about the last couple of weeks. We've lost some dead weight over the last month in our football program, and every time that some of the dead weight has fallen off, we got better and better, and morale got better in the locker room, and morale got better on the field, and everything got better. On Saturday, you travel 3/4 of the way across country. You beat the number 24 team in the nation that's got 4 NFL players running around, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. You're proud of what they accomplished. As the head coach, here's where I'm at with our football program right now. Got a bunch of young men still in our football program that believe in what we're doing and believe in each other. They believe in their brother beside them, and they play really, really hard for each other. And I told them after the game on Saturday night and told them yesterday in the team meeting just how fun it was to coach them.
Yeah, it's awesome. The establishing of culture. You've been here for 3 years now, almost 3 seasons, and it's not an overnight function, establishing culture. But do you feel now that that you understand who the kind of players that you want to be here and how to get them to buy in. Sounds to me like here you are at the end of the season. You mentioned there's some fall off, but it only made you stronger, and you guys are playing harder for that guy next to you. Vita, explain to the people what it's like to be on a football team with brothers. Like, it seems to me like you guys are a very tight-knit group.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of it happens naturally, really, when you know that the person next to you will fight hard for you to be, the best that you could be. You know what I mean?
And to push you to greatness.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like same thing with like Targi and the offensive line. Like, we always tell Targi we're doing this for you, and then he reciprocates and like, I'm doing this for you guys.
Yeah.
So then on the defense side of the ball, they're always giving the ball back to us. And
Sure.
It's just good to be a part of a team where you feel the love, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like in organizations and groups, you got two different kind of diametrically opposed ways of doing things. I've noticed that in some dysfunctional organizations, the higher you go or the better you get, the more people kind of want to drag you back. Mm-hmm. And then I've seen organizations where you've got the people that maybe have done well and are moving up, and their job and what they want to do is bring people up to their level, to give them a hand to reach them and bring them up over that cliff, as opposed to the guys that are down trying to pull the other guys towards there.
Urban Meyer and Urban Meyer multiple times, and he puts it in his book. And Urban won 3 national titles, had an undefeated season at Utah. He's done some things. Won conference titles at Bowling Green. But Urban talks about the 10-80-10, John. And what he means by the 10-80-10 is in every organization, 10% of the organization is elite. Even if it's a bad organization, 10% is elite. You have 80% of the organization, program, whatever you want to call it, that are on the fence. They show up on time, they do what's told of them, but they're on the fence. And then you have 10% down at the bottom that you can't help them. You can't help them, and the best thing for you to do and for them to do is move on. But my point was this, and you talked about great organizations, great athletic programs. The 10% of the elite players work daily to get someone in the 80% to join their 10. They're trying to bring somebody out of the 80% into the 10%. Urban Meyer said it's what made Tim Tebow so special. They said every single day Tim Tebow would announce that he's trying to get somebody in the 80% to come up to the 10% and work with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, knowing those things, knowing those data points, and teaching those to the players. Not only that, but then the players bringing their leadership internally and bringing that up, not because a coach said so, because they know it's the right thing to do, and it makes them feel good. I love it. Coach, we talked a little bit about some of the fall off. There's also been some injuries. There's been some players, and it happens to every single football team. It seems like we might have caught the bug a little harder than some. Central Arkansas is probably thinking that they caught the bug pretty bad too, which they have. Mm-hmm. But can we talk a little bit about kind of the stick-to-itiveness, or I've got a little note here, just kind of like that next man up mentality, because I know there's probably 8 or 9, maybe 10 starters that were playing game one, or that we thought would be, XYZ, and now, they're watching from the sidelines while the next man up comes. What's that dynamic like?
Never liked the next man up term. Never liked that next man up thing. It just, to me, it makes it sound like you don't care about the first guy that got injured, and I don't believe in that, because they're part of our family and we care about them no matter what.
So what's your philosophy on that?
My philosophy is that you're building depth, and that during the course over practice, and Niko and Vita can speak to this, over the course of practice, multiple guys get reps at that position. So if something was to happen, if something was to go wrong, they're ready to play. It's something I talked about. Urban Meyer, I stole it from Brent Vegan at Montana State right now. He's got the best team in the country. I stole it from him when he was at North Dakota State, and at Wyoming he was working for Craig Bowl. Yeah. But they called it double repping. Double repping, so that the next guy is ready to play when his number's called. And I don't care whether it's football, basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter what the sport is. I think you as a coach have to be getting the next guy ready all the time.
Love it. Yeah. It's a testament to, you got to recruit depth. You got to find people that can play, and and I think you've done a really good job of recruiting depth on top of whomever you've got starting. I think I think we can move on to the next segment. I think you've covered that really well. The next segment, ladies and gentlemen, is the Visit Cedar City Brian Head Student Spotlight. We have two great student athletes in our midst in our studio today, and we're going to spotlight them the best we can. We've got Tevita Fuimaono and I'm gonna do it. Niko Alailefaleula. Let's go.
Like
Reps.
that.
I'm getting my reps in. Yeah.
If you really want to test yourself, we can do their full names.
Oof. Yeah. I don't have it written down phonetically, so I don't think that's gonna work for me. But let's start with Vita. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Where's home? Tell us a little bit about your journey to Southern Utah. I know you've had some different stops.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll get to know you a little better.
Okay. I'm from Pomona, California.
Okay.
I was born and raised in California.
Nice.
And I played JUCO. I started at Mount San Antonio College in 2018. Stayed there until 2020. And due to COVID, I ended up moving to Riverside City College. And I played there 2021. And then right after that, I moved up to Missouri State.
Okay.
Played there. I was there for 2 years. And then I ended up here at Southern Utah. And
Who was your teammate at Riverside?
Edward Riley.
Ed Riley.
Ed Riley.
Played right next to him.
Ooh, that was a good line.
I bet their offensive line was pretty
At
good.
a JC, yeah, that is knocking heads, I bet.
He's doing the same thing that he's been doing.
Yeah,
so.
he's a dude, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. You played in the Missouri Valley Conference and now in the United Athletic Conference. What's it like changing conferences? I mean, everyone can play ball wherever you're at, but kind of contrast those for us.
Yeah, and the Missouri Valley Conference is stacked and loaded, and it's obviously every other week or every week you're playing a very good opponent, and then it's the same thing here in the UAC.
Yeah.
People think, oh, they're lower, but I see the same competition, whether if I was at Missouri State or I'm here.
Got it.
There's a lot of great players. Like we said, we played 2 great defensive players last week.
That's awesome. How do you pass the time, man? What are your hobbies? Let's get to know you a little bit.
And so I'm a father and a husband. So my time goes to my son and my wife.
Family man.
Yes, sir.
Your wife's name and your son's name, if you want to put them on here.
Yeah, my wife's name is Autumn Fuimaono Iono, and my son's name is Malaki Fuimaono.
Malaki.
Yes, sir.
In Tagalog, in the Philippine language, that means big.
Yeah.
Malaki. Yeah, that's cool. I've heard. Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit, and I'm going to let you both talk here before we get over to you. But we've heard word that there's a formation of a special unit of SUU football players called the Dirty Birds.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about who and what is the Dirty Birds. Y'all can just go whenever you want.
Niko, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
The Dirty Birds.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody's getting to know the little group around here in Cedar.
Yeah.
It's a form of group of majority of the polys and a few of the others like Trent, Seawall, Josh Accord,
Okay.
Kyle, our starting right guard, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Really, Ami Tausinga, he started it when he got here. When
That sounds about right.
3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
3 seasons ago. It started off small. They didn't have a lot of polys in the beginning. Then I seen that Fitz been recruiting more polys.
Get that poly pipeline coming.
That pipeline coming down here in
That's it.
Cedar. It's just we're called a Kalapu Dirty Birds, and majority of schools in Utah have their little Kalapu too. It's called a group.
A Kalapu's like a group?
Yeah, in Tongan, we mix. I don't know if you know what mixing
I
is.
do.
But, oh,
I've
yeah.
been on the side. I've dipped a few cups in my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
We mix. We drink kava. So
Yeah.
that's how we. I think that how all polys here on the football team, we're so close. On and off the field, we always have a good time, and feel like, our bond is so strong, and that's what Dirty Birds is. So
Keeps you guys together. I love
Yeah.
that. So tell me, Vita, a little bit about that kava ritual, what it means to Polynesians. Like, obviously, it's bringing in some spiritual aspect, but also that social aspect.
Yeah, in the Tongan culture, it's a very spiritual thing. It's a way that our ancestors have been doing for a very long time, and also in the Samoan culture, it's a very sacred thing to do. And like for us younger guys, obviously it's not as sacred as it is.
Not quite as spiritual, more
yeah.
social.
And it also gives us time to spend together and
Yeah.
really break bread with each other.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on, man. I know. So I've got a lot of really great friends that are Polynesians, and we've we mix a bunch,
Yeah.
and it's so nice. I don't know if you guys do this, but man, there's a lot of singing, hanging out, laughing, good times. It's just a really nice bonding situation. Back to Vita. Couple questions, just like I said, to get to know you a little better. You're obviously with your family, or you're with the football family, or with the home family.
Yeah.
But what do you guys like? What do you like? Favorite movie? What do you like to like? I asked this to everybody, but like, what's your last meal? What would you eat if it was the last one? Tell me what your movie is, and tell me what you like to eat.
I'm not a big movie guy, but I just finished Breaking Bad.
Oh.
For some reason, I just
That's
ended
pretty
up catching
solid.
onto it. So
Yeah.
I just finished the series a couple weeks ago.
Oof.
It was
Twists
cool.
and
I liked it.
turns.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on.
I couldn't do it. Oh, it's great. It's great. I said, this is not very good. And I said, oh, you got to give it to second season. Second season, this is not very good. Third season. I finished the third season. I went, I just wasted this much time on my life. I could not do it.
Poor coach can't get into the dramas, man.
Making meth in a camper out in the desert just doesn't do it
It just
for
hits.
me. I'm sorry.
You're like, hey, if I wanted to, never mind. I'm not going to go there.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think it's
sorry.
because I was for 24 hours straight, a couple weeks, it was Mickey Mouse and Coco Melon. So
Oh, yeah.
I found something that
Yeah.
caught me, and I was like, oh, hey,
Don't let them
different.
Don't let them watch Blue. And
Bluey?
Bluey. That's and then the worst one ever is Caillou.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little whiny kid just whines all the time, and your kids whine. And,
Yeah.
Coach is savage.
I can talk children's shows with you.
And then what about what would your favorite meal be? What would you want?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm 300 pounds, so it might be a long list. But I definitely
A lot of everything, please.
I put a fried chicken on it,
Yeah.
for sure. Steak on it.
Yeah.
Rice. I mean, Polynesian staple.
Yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
maybe some ice cream, some cookies. I mean, how long do we got?
Hey, man.
Vita, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for
Thank
that. Niko, back over to you. Kind of same question. Where's home? How on earth did you get from where you're from to here?
Oh, man. I was born in Seattle, then basically raised my whole life in Anchorage, Alaska.
Why were you born in Seattle?
My dad played Division I with the Washington Huskies.
Oh, right on.
He had me around, I think, his senior year and the junior year.
Yeah.
That's my mom stayed with him. Obviously, he had a great career in high school, and obviously he excelled in college football too.
That's awesome.
Did a little time in the NFL too.
Oof.
Played with the Jets, Green Bay Packers, Giants, just a few teams of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that blood running through you.
Yeah, it's a football blood
Yeah.
around there. So yeah.
Awesome. And then how did you make it down to Cedar City from Anchorage, Alaska?
Obviously, Coach Fitz recruited me. I had a few schools talking to me straight out of high school. I had schools in mind that I wanted to commit it, but Coach Fitz started calling me towards April-ish, around that time, a little before I graduated my senior year. So when I got that call, I committed right on that phone call.
Cool.
So I'm glad to be here in Southern Utah.
Man, we love having you here. This question goes to you both. What are you studying? Let's talk you, and then the best thing you like about Cedar City. So what are you studying first?
I was in exercise science. Now I'm transitioning to communication/business.
Excellent.
So I found interest in that, talking to my advisor with all that switch up.
Now, are you a redshirt freshman? What's your status?
Oh, yeah, I'm a redshirt freshman.
So you might not know yet, but what do you want to do with that degree after and your football career might be a long ways down the road, but after that, what are you looking at doing?
I really truly wanted to go back home, be like a kind of a personal trainer in a way, maybe coach, but I had an uncle and everything like that trained me my whole life. Just like looking up to him, seeing like I want to coach kids too. That's probably what I'm best at. Like,
Awesome.
Paving the way for young athletes, especially from Alaska, for sports to make it to D1.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a great ambition. What about you?
I got my bachelor's degree a couple months ago.
Degree secured.
Yeah, in
Well
sociology.
done.
I'm working on my master's in interdisciplinary studies.
Very good.
Um,
And what would you like to do with that?
I definitely want to stay around sports. Probably not really coaching. I would like to be like in the background more, somewhere in the administrative side of sports.
Cool.
So yeah.
Love that.
John, they both have recruiting stories. So late in the recruiting process, and Niko had his mind up that he was going to another school, and through the grapevine, they said there's a kid in Anchorage. And the exact quote was, there's a Polynesian kid playing outside of Anchorage. Is a pretty good little football player. And I was like, they got Polys in Alaska? First thing crosses my mind, and then the second thing was, why? Yeah, why would you move to Alaska? But his story's pretty good on how they got to Alaska. But I put the film in, fell in love with him as a player. Niko probably plays the game of football very similar to the way I played the game of football, so he reminds me of me. But watched him on film. I probably watched his film a
Probably a little
dozen
more
times.
athletic, though, right?
I guarantee you he's more athletic. Smarter, more athletic.
Better looking.
Yeah, stronger.
I like that one, man.
I don't know about
I'm glad you recognize
That's the
that.
most important thing, but that's the one that's not true.
Gotta keep his hair, man.
The rest of them. Niko, bald is beautiful.
Bald is beautiful.
I got to get on the phone with him and his parents a couple of times, and really liked the family and thought he'd be a fit here, and we were lucky to get him. But excited about that. Vita's danced around the question. He wants to be in sports administration. His wife is in sports administration here at the university, and that's how we got on Vita. But we hired Miss Autumn about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
About 8 months ago, and first thing she said when she got here, she goes, my husband's a football player. I said, really, is he? And I thought, same old story.
Sure.
Played in high school, never played in college. She said,
Right.
he just finished up at Missouri State, has a semester of eligibility left. And I played it off in front of her like I wasn't paying attention or I wasn't interested. I sprint over to the office and type in the film in, attempting to type his last name into the film. Anyway, pulled the film up. Very good football player, and we're fortunate to have him with us this fall.
That's awesome. Sometimes Cedar City just the universe combines to bring people here, and then they do special things when they're here at SUU. So,
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being here. And again, that's the Student Spotlight brought to you by Visit Cedar City and Brian Head. Coach.
He cut you off, Niko. He didn't ask you what your favorite foods were.
Oh, sorry.
He didn't ask you.
Well,
You
but
probably
I
got
told
stuck
him-
on the last name or something.
No, I told him he was handsome, so at that point, it doesn't even matter.
Nothing
You're off
mattered.
the hook.
Yeah, no, I saw the smile. I'm like, let's just finish this in a
Okay,
good.
quick in 5 seconds, y'all's favorite places to eat in town.
Ooh, All-American Diner.
All-American?
I like tacos al jefe.
Hey.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's 2 of my top 5.
Both good ones. All right, Coach. We're going to do a little preview here. Last game of the year coming up. This week's preview is sponsored by the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Thunderbird Nation, get on over to the for the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Great atmosphere over there. Great craft cocktails. They've got lots of different beverages on tap over there. That's 21 plus over at the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Let's break down Utah Tech. We got a few minutes left here in the show. This is the Battle of the Axe. Is that what we've branded this?
Battle of the Axe.
Battle of the Axe, and we've got the axe, don't we?
Regan's asked me not to talk about all the old mascots of both schools, so I'll leave the old mascots out. Cedar versus St. George.
Well, we don't have an identity crisis, so the Southern Utah Thunderbirds have been there for a long time.
Fact. I'm trying to be good.
I know. I don't mean to bait you.
I'm trying to
saying
be
something
good,
bad.
and it's hard, guys. I like
baiting you.
I like the old mascots. So I think the old mascots are cool.
Don't be a rebel, man.
No, but 100 years ago here we were the Broncos.
That's true.
So I do like the old mascot stuff, like the history of each school. But Cedar versus St. George this weekend, the fact that they're less than 45 minutes apart, the two towns, that makes it pretty heated. And a lot of our players know a lot of their players, and they grew up playing with each other and against each other, and that makes the rivalry even more and more fun. Can't believe I just used that word to describe it. John, but you want specifics.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Who are they?
About Utah Tech.
Yeah.
A brand new first-year head coach, Lance Anderson, and him and his staff are doing a really good job of rebuilding a program that was once really good when they were Division II for a year or two, and when they were junior college, they were lights out, one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
But he's doing a nice job of building a program there, and you can see the building blocks of what he's put together this fall, and the future is bright for the bunch down there. But specifically talking about this weekend, defensive coordinator doing a nice job. Whoever's coaching their special teams got those kids flying around, playing really hard on teams. Offensively, number 5, Reggie Graff, is playing quarterback for him. He won 2 state titles at Dixie High School as a high school player. One of the better quarterbacks we're going to face this year, and a better quarterback than the ones we faced the last couple of weeks. But he scares me because he's as good with his feet as he is throwing the football. But number 5 is something we have to pay attention to all day Saturday. He's got number 3, Chris Street, and Chris is playing running back for him and doing a really nice job. Chris had a good game against us last year in this game, so we're well aware of him. And then when Reggie throws the football, he's throwing it to Bryce Parker and number 11. I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's Eni Falale. And I probably pronounced that wrong, but number 11. But wide receivers, number 14 and number 11, do a nice job for them. They flip over on defense, and it makes me smile. Number 12, Brevin Hamlin, is their leading tackler and their free safety. And you see people's rosters and it says a player's 6'5". Well, that means he's 6'3". Well, Brevin is really 6'5".
He's the real.
So
he's the real number.
And he's standing there at safety at 6'5". So he may be the tallest safety in the country, but we recruited him out of high school. I should have done a better job because he's turned out to be a good player. Another player that we recruited out of high school, number 17, Quincy LeJay, is playing DB for them also and doing a really nice job as a redshirt freshman. Both these kids just been in their program for 2 years, going to be good football players. Number 7, Jared Fotu at the linebacker position.
I've heard that name before.
He leads them up front and does a nice job. If you let Jared, he'll knock fire out of you now. So, but runs around really physical. And then number 45, Spencer Rich, is one of my favorite to watch on film, and Spencer's done a good job for them this year. I think he's a really, really good football player. At defensive end, they got Jackson running around, one of the better defensive ends in the conference, transfer from BYU. Got a lot of respect for the way he plays, and we recruited him also. That's what makes this game tight year in and year out. It's what makes it fun. We recruited all their players. They recruited all of our players. On special teams, number 26, Andy Day, their punter, is a weapon for them. He flips the field, and he's averaging 40-some plus yards punting the football, but he flips the field for them and does a nice job. And then number 27 is their kicker. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name, but he's hit some big field goals for them. He's hit 6 field goals this fall and done a nice job for them. I cannot be complimentary enough of what they've done and what their coaching staff is doing. I've been in that situation where you take over a bad football program.
Big turnaround.
Yeah, it's brick by brick, cinder block by cinder block. It is a daily process to build it from the ground up. John, you just 36 months ago, next month, 36 months ago, we came in here and inherited a 1-in-10 football program and had to build it from the ground up. So a lot of respect for their coaches, a lot of respect for their players and what they're doing there.
Yeah. You mentioned Reggie Graff. I think when the season started, he might have been 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. But he's really come up. I watched some film of him, and he's a lefty and does some really good things. And like you said, he can use his legs.
The cream rises to the top, and I don't know where. I didn't see the depth chart in preseason camp for them, so I don't know where he was at. I just know if you go back the last 5 or 6 films, he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, he's well into the top half in this conference.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
John, if we don't do a great job of executing on defense, he can beat us on Saturday by himself.
Yeah, and the defense. This is something that kind of shocked me. In the last 2 games, they've created like over 7 turnovers.
How about that?
I mean, that's legit. Right? I don't care who you're playing. They could be playing Cedar. They could be playing anybody.
The majority of those were 2 weeks ago, but they're ripping at the football and they're opportunistic on defense, and their DBs are picking the football off. They're getting their hand on passes and batting it up in the air, and the kids are picking
galore,
it.
Yeah. Well, we obviously we got our work cut out this coming up Saturday. Anything else? I've got a few things I want to say as far as promoting the game.
These games are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're a whole bunch of fun for the university, for our players, for our coaching staff. It's a lot of fun. We all have a responsibility, and Vita's one of them, but we have a responsibility to send our seniors off the right way on Saturday.
That's right. And that's kind of what I was going to bring up here. We got to probably going to go over a little time there, Regan, sorry, but we got senior night. Senior day, I guess, and we've got some great seniors that have played. Some for 1 year, some for 4 years, some for 5 or 6 years. They've been here a long time. But Cedar City, Thunderbird Nation, this is a plea. We have got to get you out to the game. We have got to pack that place. St. George is not too far away. They're going to be plenty up, but we got to make sure that they feel welcome, but not welcome enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can have some hospitality, but they got to know this is our house. And it's going to be a big game both for the seniors and then also for that, I can't believe you said it, the rivalry game. And this is a trophy game. There is a trophy. The axe goes, hopefully it just stays here in Iron County, but it'll travel back and forth over the years. And this is a very important game. Got to get you out, Thunderbird Nation. Get your tickets. Get on over there to Eccles Coliseum for a fantastic game. It's sure to be these games can go either way. You understand they won their first game of the year a couple weeks ago and gave West Georgia all they wanted on Saturday. Just came up a little short, but obviously this is going to be a little bit of a Clash of the Titans situation here. So excited for that. Again, Thunderbird Nation, go get your tickets and show out for your boys. Shout outs. Niko, we'll start with you. Shout out mom and dad. Shout out whoever you want to shout out.
Sounds good. I'll shout out my lady, Nayana.
Hey.
I'd like to also shout out my mom and dad, especially my mom. She just beat cancer like 6 days ago.
What?
So that was
Let's
a big
go.
deal. Hell yeah. So I'd like to shout out my little siblings, Deuce and Malaya, and obviously all my family and friends back in Alaska and my fellow Dirty Birds.
The Dirty Birds.
Yeah. I just want to shout out again my wife, Autumn, and my son, Malaki. And then my mom and dad, obviously, wouldn't be here without them.
For sure.
And for both of you, what's mom and dad's name?
My mom's name is Christine, and my dad's name is Lopetti.
Lorena and Sui.
Awesome.
A big shout out to Brett Castle and his family. Second game Brett's been to, and
Such a stud.
yeah, him and his lady. That they put their little girl in a car and drove 5 hours up from Mississippi to see us on Saturday.
And they created a beautiful child.
Yeah, big.
She should
big
be a
shout
model.
out.
I'm telling you, this
Is
little
she-
girl, she's like 18 months, 2 years old. She is a gorgeous little person.
Harper's a lot of fun, but
There you go.
got to spend some time with Brett and his family. It was really, really cool. But
Yeah.
big shout out to them coming up on Saturday.
Awesome. I got some shout outs myself. Dave and Jackson Carter down at Regatti's down in St. George. Shout out those guys for coming and being supporters. And then Kenny Miller from Zions Bank brought a guy with him on the trip named Rick Lewis, who was awesome. He's an ERA guy down in St. George. But we're starting to bring the St. George crew up to Cedar City. It's starting the migration. We're bringing the fans and the people to the Southern Utah University world. But they were great to deal with, and it was awesome to see them. And then shout out. There's a lot of parents that have a lot of sacrifice, both financially and time, that help make these players who they are and what they are. And there's a bunch of them that travel, whether we're in Georgia or whether we're in St. George, they're going to be there. And so shout out all the parents that are sacrificing time and treasure to keep these guys here at Southern Utah University.
I second that. We have two handfuls of parents that don't miss a game, and it doesn't matter whether the game missed. So I second that. Big shout out to you guys. A huge thank you to all of our supporters that traveled with us this weekend.
Yeah.
So, great group of people to spend the weekend with.
It was awesome. Yeah. And I could go down the list. I mean, Senator Vickers was there. We had, excuse me, Eric Levitt and his wife Melissa were with us, and there's a bunch of people from the university that came as well. I think 2 vice presidents came.
Jake Allen.
Jared Tippett.
Jake Allen, Jared Tippett.
Yeah.
Jake never gets enough credit. Jarrett never gets enough credit. But guys that really keep this university running and do a nice job.
Yeah, it takes a village to keep this thing going, and shout out to all the villagers out there. All right. So Thunderbird Nation for Niko. I'm going to get this right at the very end here.
Yeah, you got it.
Alailefaleula.
Yeah.
And Tevita Fuimaono and Delane Fitzgerald. I'm Jon Smith. Go Thunderbirds.
Go Thunderbirds.
Yeah,
Go Dirty Birds.
Yeah.
Dirty Bird.
Them dirty birds.